Good morning, everyone. Good morning, students. How are you feeling today? I hope you're all doing well. So, as you can see outside, it's very hot, so it's always better to keep your water bottles next to you at all times. Stay hydrated, guys. Hydrated, guys. Okay. So, do any of you know our topic today? Our topic today is the types of imagery in creative writing. We all know what's imagery. Have you ever encountered such a word? If not, you better listen to me. So here is our objectives. Before you leave the classroom, you are expected to know all you are to know all of this, okay? First of all is to identify the different types of imagery and to explain how they appeal to the senses. Of course, later on I will show you the different types or I will explain to you the different types of imagery. There are only 6 guys. So next, appreciate the importance of sensory detail in creative expression. The third one is demonstrate understanding of the types of imagery through creative writing. We have an activity later, so you'll be able to express and show what you've learned in there, okay? So this is our overview. As you can see, the visual is for your eyes, auditory has an ear, the olfactory has a nose, and respiratory and tactile and kinesthetic. Based on the picture shown here, you can all tell that we are talking about the senses of our body, which is the 5 senses, but we added one, this is the kinesthetic. So, first of all, we will determine what is the lexical meaning of imagery. So imagery refers to the language that appeals to the senses like sound, sight, touch, taste, smell to create a mental picture that will evoke emotions and immerse readers into a scene or an experience. It's for literary device used to make writing more engaging and relatable. Of course, when a writer writes, he or she doesn't just write things in there that doesn't make sense or it doesn't evoke our imaginations. Of course, an effective writer needs to always create a mental picture in our head so that the text or the story will not be boring or plain. Okay? So now that you know the types of imagery, we will now move on to the first imagery, which is the visual imagery. So first of all, the most obvious one here is the visual imagery. It describes language that paints a mental picture through sight. Like for example, the crimson sunset led across the horizon. If we hear this type of example, what do you feel or what image struck to your head while reading this? Of course, as you're reading this, I expect you all to like imagine it through your hand, like the sunset light across the horizon, like probably you're imagining sunsets that are very high, intense of colors like that, of course. And then the next one is the auditory. It's not that difficult to determine what an auditory means. If we're talking about auditory, we're talking about our ears or our hearing. It evokes sounds, volume, speech, rhythm to create a mood. Beast. For example, the distant thunder growls like hunger. When we say growls, what does it mean? When a dog growls, what does it typically mean? Like it's angry, right? Something like that. It will evoke you. It will push these types of writings will push you into creating a mental picture or a scenery in your head. So, as we all The next is the gustatory. It doesn't sound that difficult. When you hear this sound, the word gustatory, it means taste in the literary, in the word of, in the field of English. It means taste. So you're able to describe it. I'm able to smell things. Okay, we have an example right here. How do you feel when you are shown this type of picture? It is a picture of a pancake with maple syrup and strawberries. So when you see this, it feels like you're hungry, right? It feels like something. If you are familiar with watching mukbangs, we'll get into that later. The different types of practical use of imagery. So when you look at this picture, you will be able to like crave something like that. It is very effective, especially in writing. Okay, we need to use this type of imagery for the learners to be able to feel as if they were on the seat. Okay, the two will be presented later when we um, explore some of those later, okay? So, to describe this, for example, the chili exploded on her tongue, fiery smoking with a hint of dark chocolate. Of course, when we talk about taste, we're always, if we talk about food, as a Filipino, there's something just inside of us that will, like, want the food eventually, like that, whatever. Okay? The tactile imagery. Tactile imagery focuses on texture, touch, roughness or smoothness of the surface, even the temperature, okay? For example, here is the wool scratched the her neck, but the warmth was worth the itch. As we read this, we must be imagining how itchy or uncomfortable the scarf must be, like in our skin, okay? It's This type of imagery focuses on texture or something that can be cold or cold or hot, softness or the softness or roughness of the surface, something like that. So let's move on to the next. This is the final one. We have the kinesthetic. Besides having our five senses, this is a valid one. This is the kinesthetic imagery. It captures movement. When we say movement, what does this mean in creative writing? Okay, let's explore more. It is like bodily tension, trembling, or screeching. For example of this, it is his muscles screamed as the pulled himself very important fundamental skill that you must need to learn while you're still in school at an early age. Okay, it's never too late to start. Okay, so the practical use of imagery. Right now, we are going to ano this, like deal with this, okay? I see you. I see you. When we talk about seeing, we are talking about our eyesight, right? And then touch me not. When we say touch, of course, we are talking about the feeling of being held, okay? So that is tactile imagery. And then, hear ye. We often hear these expressions a lot, especially when we watch Western movies like the 90s movies. They often use this as a form of joke. Okay, hear ye. It is talking about our sense of hearing. So we are talking about what type of imagery. We're talking about auditory imagery. Okay, and then when you hear the saying, I smell something fishy. I smell something fishy. Now we're going to say Gen Zs are now going to say that seems suspicious, right? It's like sus. But back in our day, we use this type of expression. Okay, I smell something fishy. Okay, talking about smell. Okay, olfactory. Okay, the delicious taste. Shake, taste, share it, shake it, movement. Okay? We are talking about gustatory imagery. Okay? When we talk about taste, when we talk about flavors, when we talk about the spiciness or the hotness of things that we're describing something that we taste. Okay? Here we have the practical use of imagery. This includes advertising, creative writing, storytelling, and speeches, blogging, or content creation. So we all know right now, in the 21st century, there are a lot of bloggers, and then they use this imagery to really immerse the readers or the people who are watching, the netizens who are watching their blogs to really capture their attention. For example, here the blogging, food bloggers will always describe how they taste or they always describe how something tastes when they try something good because Filipinos love watching mukbangs, food critics, something like that. We're really prone to that and we're really sa clickbait. Okay? Use of imagery. So when we talk about creative writing, this is again our subject, right? So creative writing is imagery is essential in creative writing because it allows the readers to transport the readers into a world of a story or a poem. When we talk about creative writing, it is our creativeness or the direction of our brain to be able to write something out of the ordinary or interesting, something interesting that our brain has something to say. Okay, when we talk about creative writing, we explore into stories, we explore into poems, we explore into a scenery that makes the readers or the readers enthusiasts want to immerse themselves in it. So, as I was studying college, we are always encouraged to read, us, okay? Especially in Grey's Anatomy, I've watched that. You all should watch that. It's a very great series. So, an example of creative writing is by using descriptive language. What do you mean by descriptive language? It is the language that describes the pictures, the describes, okay? That it is a language that appeals to the five senses. This is like the sound, the smell, the taste, the touch. The writers can create a vivid mental picture and immerse themselves in the readers from the experience of the writer, okay? And next is advertising. As we all know today, our marketing, our types of marketing has changed. We don't often companies doesn't just often rely on advertisement that will flash on TV because no one watches televisions anymore. So what do? They partner with bloggers, with content creators, with some well-known artists to promote their brand. And there's something about advertising that advertising is really an art because you're selling something, right? And if you are selling something, you must be able to really describe the feeling of using it, whether it is a lotion, whether it is a food, whether it is an experience. Advertising takes a lot of different styles, okay? But often, people or directors often use the imagery to be able, of course, to immerse the buyers or the consumers on how they would feel if they try on the product. So, for example, a vivid description can make a product seem more appealing, luxurious, and of course, necessary. If we buy something on social media, if we're engaged on the what we see on our feed, of course, we would think that it's very necessary, even though it's not. Okay? The next one is storytelling or speeches. Imagery helps storytellers and speakers compare the audience, attention, and their narrative more engaging and memorable. For example, here, by using a vivid description, speakers can paint a picture in the listener's mind, making the story, speech more impactful and relatable. When I was in college, our deans or our teachers often make us write stories, make us write novels, journals, any type of creative writing there is called. It is an activity for us to be able to challenge our writing skills. have the similarity, okay? They use imagery to be able to engage the netizens on what they're posting because they get paid simply by existing. An example of this is whether writing about travel, just like I said kanina, there are a lot of content bloggers or different categories of bloggers. We have food, travel, fashion, or any topic, a vivid description, or any topic, creates a vivid description that can help capture the reader's imagination and keep them coming back for more. Of course, when we have a favorite blogger or content creator, we always do what? Do what that? Follow them. Watch their daily activities, watch their stories, follow them, also be friends with them or message them. We do everything just to connect with them or to watch their daily activities because we are hooked by them. So here in the next one, or the last one is students share personal experiences. Sharing personal experiences for vivid descriptions make an impactful or help students to understand the power of imagery and at first hand. An example of this is by reflecting on moments where descriptive language resonates with them. Students can gain a deeper appreciation from the art, storytelling, and the importance of using sensory details to create a lasting impression. Okay? When we say about lasting impression and personal experiences, they're often coincide, okay? This type of techniques are used for what? Writing your experiences. This writing your experiences in a sensory detailed way. Okay? So, before we end the lesson, any of you have any further questions? Okay? None? So I assume you all wrote everything down, and then we will now proceed to our activity. So, activity 1, the sensory hot challenge. The class will be divided into 6 groups. 6 groups, 1 group per imagery type. So each group races to find the line of the imagery from the poem right here. Okay? They present and explain how it appeals to their assigned senses. Okay? We have the criteria right here. 3 points for correct identification, 2 points for clear explanation, 1 point for creativity in presentation. So, I will give you 10 to 15 minutes to finish what is the needed there, and then what are supposed to be. Okay, group yourselves and you say, are you going to choose yourselves or am I going to count 1 to 6? Okay, you just choose yourself. Okay. From this group, we have the tactile, imagery, visual, gustatory, kinesthetic, and olfactory. So, if you're divided, turn your chairs into a circle so that you can brainstorm. Okay, select a leader, please. A facilitator rather. I will give you 5 minutes. Your timer starts now. Don't make any disrespectful noise that may disturb the others, okay? If you have any questions, ask me, not your classmates, okay? I am the teacher. Your seatmates are not your teacher. I am your teacher, okay? I am getting Okay. I will extend it to 1 minute more so that we will be able to really identify what we're lacking. You can see everyone is not on the home or you're not really sure what you're going to write. I will add 1 minute, okay? Okay, that's enough. Okay, finish or not finish. Okay, you will just sit there while I write the correct answer of each group. So, I will read to you the poem once again. Morning in the barrio. Morning in the barrio. The golden sun stretches over the fields, kissing the dew on the sleepy grass. Roosters break the silence with their proud cries, while children's laughter dances in the air. The aroma of pandesal fills the morning breeze. Sweet coffee steamed in ceramic cups, bare feet press triumph against the cool, damp earth. As mothers sweep their front yards, the gentle rhythm, the wind hums softly through banana leaves. Carabao lazily in morning pools, a tricycle rumbled down the narrow roads, and everything I knew this familiar song. As I was reading this, how did you feel? You felt immersed, right? Like the province life. You're in the province, you're typically smelling you're typically seeing mothers sweeping their front yards, carabaos, lazily sleeping on mud. So first of all, what did you notice? The golden sun stretches over the field. So what have you learned? What did we talk about yesterday? When we're talking about temperature, we are talking about what? Can anybody answer me? We are, yeah, right. Very good, Aryan. We are talking about tactile imagery, the feeling of being scorched, the temperature, the touch, texture, everything that surrounds the being, like the feeling of being touched. So, 1.4, this group for getting it correct. You can see it evokes cravings or taste. That's the target. Aroma pala ko, and the aroma to the eye. I was wrong, I'm sorry, the aroma. The aroma, we're talking about on the eye. Olfactory because we're talking about aroma of something. When we talk about aroma, what does it mean? What is the lexical meaning of that? Aroma is the smell or the fragrance of something. Okay, next is the sweet coffee stream in chick ceramic cups. Sweet coffee, okay, that's a story. Very good. Tama po ito dito sa side. And bare feet press against the cool, damp earth. Ano? When we're talking about the soles and our feet, like the talampakan, barefoot. So what does that mean? Lakay. Very good, Ariane. You're the only one who's listening. So let's move on. As the mothers swim, their front yards. Swim, when we talk about swimming, we are moving. So this is kinesthetic. And then, with the gentle rhythm, we're talking about sounds auditory, and then the wind comes softly through the bananas. Comes, okay, so auditory again. And then the caravels were wade easily in muddy pools. The city is somehow we're still moving. Okay, kinesthetic. And then a tricycle rumbled down the narrow road. Tricycle rumbles. What do you mean by rumbles? We're talking about hearing, okay? So, auditory again. And echoing a new day's familiar song. Again, hearing. So, when we finish that, I will give you time to scan your notebooks because we are going to have just a short quiz. So, if you have any clarifications, please ask me beforehand before we'll start our quiz. We'll give you 5 minutes to prepare, okay? I will time you. Your timer starts now. Start scanning your notebooks. I'm going to remove my presentation, okay? Okay, our time is going to be short. So we are going to start again. I assume that I had really detailed my lesson. So I assume that you're all prepared. So we have grab 1/4 each, okay? Grab 1/4 each. I will not repeat. 1/4, ma'am. Yes, 1/4. Okay, are you all ready? I will give you an extension 3 more minutes because you deserve the rest. And you deserve to send your notebooks because it means no sharing of notebooks, okay? You are all given school supplies, please school supplies before you enter the classroom. So don't use the notebook of others. You must you must appreciate the value of writing in your notes. Okay, let's start. let's start. This is just an easy five item quiz. Okay, the first one, the question number one is the word sun slipped through my toes. What does this mean? What does this appeal to? What senses is used? Okay, we have four options right here. A for sight, B for touch, C for taste, and D for smell. I will repeat again the question. The word sun slipped through my toes. A sight, B touch, C taste, D smell. Number two is the bright moonlight beneath the garden in silvers. The bright moonlight painted the garden in silver. What does this represent? A. Visual, B. Kinesthetic, C. Tactile, D. Auditory. Eyes on your own paper. Should we proceed to question number three? Okay. Question number three is the aroma of the garlic fill the kitchen. What does this evoke? How does this appeal to your senses? A. Olfactory imagery. B. Gustatory imagery. C. Auditory imagery. And D. Visual imagery. So, okay, the aroma, the keyword there is aroma. What do you mean by aroma? I mentioned that before, kanina. It is presented in your activity, okay? It's not that hard. Okay, the fourth question is, the thunder blew like a roaring lion, roaring, like there. That was the rumbles. What was that? Answer right there, kanina. A, kinesthetic, B, gustatory, D, tactile, D, auditory. Okay? We have the last one. Question number three. She could taste the sweetness of victory. What is the example of that in imagery? A, kinesthetic, B, gustatory, D, tactile, and C, tactile, and D, olfactory. Okay? Does any of you understand that? Do you need extra more time? Don't look at other your classmates' paper because you don't know if his or her answer is wrong. You might pick up with the wrong answer. Okay? Okay, just pass your papers in front. I will give you an assignment. Your assignment will be posted later on the Schoology. You will be posted later on the Schoology, okay? Just, I will send a message on the GC on the instructions and also the details of the submission, okay? So, stand up everyone. Goodbye, class. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Today, pray for us. And the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Goodbye.